please drop into the comments. Say hi to us. Tell us where you're dialing in from. Just give us a brief update of what's going on with you. Michelle, thank you so much for joining me today. You know I love having a conversation with you. Why don't you tell everybody hi real quick, because I've accidentally just closed out my notes on your bio, and then I'll get back to that part.
Absolutely. Welcome. It's so good to be here. Heidi and I could talk forever, so we'll try to keep this, short and sweet. But I'm glad to be here. Welcome from sunny Florida. I'm Michelle B. Griffin, the brand therapist, where I do personal branding, PR, and LinkedIn visibility to help women experts become visible brand authorities. So it's awesome to be here and chat about all things owning your lane today.
I know. I'm so excited. I know. And we could talk forever. I mean, it works out that way so well. And every time you come on or we get on a conversation, it's like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about now? And today, I mean, the fact that we are getting a sneak peek and preview into your upcoming book and all of that kind of stuff is just,
yes,
I'm honored.
Yes. No, I'm excited. It'll be out in October. And I gave myself a lot of runway so that I can get on these kind of shows to pre-launch it and just start the conversation, because it's something I'm passionate about. It's my 7-step brand GPS own your lane system. It's really geared as a visibility roadmap that I help women just be really crystal clear on who they are, what they want to do, feeling really aligned. Time erases our identity so easily. And I find women, particularly in mid-career, it's the perfect time to get back on track and do the work you love and get visible. And, why are we doing the work we love? Because we're here to make a huge impact with the transformation in our work and ideas. So it's really to help more women stand out as, authorities in their space so they can continue to get traction and accelerate for the transformation they bring to the world and to their clients.
Which is so freaking important, as we both know. And I mean, I've also been shifting into my own lane right now over the last few months. And so that's been so exciting, and just, stepping up and helping people get visible and owning their space. I mean, we're both so passionate about that. And by the way, we've got Miss Beth Ann here. She says, congratulations on your book.
Thank you, Beth Ann. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's, when you really own your lane, you don't feel lost. And one of the things I know I fall victim to, because I usually am like looking for research and everything, is looking to the side is comparison-itis. And, we hear, imposter syndrome, but at the end of the day, I feel like the one thing that we fall victim to is comparing others, and they're usually ahead of us or they're in a different lane. And so when you own your lane, you're like, that's them. I'm in this narrow lane. This is mine to own, and to just feel really clear and confident. And it's an experience that it changes everything. And I'll tell you, when I rebranded my consultancy to Stand Out Women Media February 1st, a little over 2 months ago, I truly had found my lane, and I got that nudge back maybe last fall, because it was truly the lane I was meant to be on. All the signposts were there. I just ignored them. And, I do my own work. I brand myself. I have, mentors and brand strategists, friends who help me. But when you don't get help and you don't have someone to help you get out there, it's slower. So it took me a while to get out there on my own, because I'm stubborn. But now I can wake up every day. I'll tell you this, last night I was like, I can't wait to go to bed, because I can't wait to wake up in the morning, because I love what I do. Like that, I'm not sounding like Pollyanna just to rah. I truly mean that. Like, it brings tears to my eyes. And that's what I do with the women experts I help. And it just helps position you for where you need to be and where you want to go. And that's what
it makes such a difference. I mean, it really makes such a difference. And I mean, I've been watching you on this journey of transforming and just finally owning your lane as well, even though everything you've done before now has been freaking incredible too. But you can tell a difference in you since you stepped into that. I mean, you were confident before, but now you're really like over the top confident, and not in a bad way, but in a great way, almost glowing that I'm happy what I'm doing. And it makes it does, it comes through, which is incredible.
That's when you know other people see it, feel it, and you're not the only one. I've had other friends and clients and friends all over. We WhatsApp, you and I do it too. And I had one friend say, Michelle, I just hear it in your voice. I hear it in your voice, and that's what I want for my clients. You do it well. I mean, you remember when a couple months ago, maybe it's 6 months ago, when did we first start talking about your positioning and your aha moment? I think when you were on my podcast, and remember,
Right?
I'm the one who said your story from 2008 when you dropped that F-bomb really golden anchored in my mind. And I don't know if that clicked for you, but I feel like ever since that, you've really and look at the book behind you. Look at the book behind you, right?
Working on it.
Yeah, you're owning your lane, and look at that smile. You see, that's what I want for the women clients I work, well, for everyone, but how I help my women clients. They're smiling, they're beaming, they're glowing inside. And who doesn't want that, right?
I know, and that's just it. And I'm you're going to be actually helping me with mine more than you already have, because you've already pointed me in that direction, which I've really been moving down, like you said, since your show. And it just feels every day I feel more confident. I feel more in control of everything, since you nudged me that direction. Like, Heidi, why aren't you doing this instead of this? And it's like, duh, like you said, the signs were there. You were just ignoring them. I mean, there was a little bit of that. I know I was comparing myself against other people. I was also, my expectations. I was like, yeah, I should be further along. I should be this. I should be that. So it was holding me back in a sense. And you gave me that nudge. And since then, I have been on my path. And I'm just like, and I'm so excited, because I do know that we're going to be working together because I want some of your magic on my stuff too. And I'm a
You're
fan,
ready.
guys. I'm a
Yeah.
fan.
Especially, I work with a lot of authors and speakers, but authors in particular that are actually about to write their book, currently writing their book with me, or some of them even have books that have been out and they just never got on their lane to really, amplify that. And this is the perfect time and to position you exactly where you want to be to get that message. Everything's just an ecosystem. And I remember I said, go and print your cover and put it on there. It's such a visual. And this is absolutely you. And another thing is, we hear it, we can do it for others, but we're too close to ourselves. That's why I'm the brand therapist, right? I help you hold the mirror up, but I also bring a different set of eyes, ears, and expert perspective to connect those dots for the golden thread of you. Because when you know who you are, not what you do, when you know who you are, your purpose.
That's the key. Yeah.
That is exactly it. And that's the 4 steps to own your lane. The first one is PYOT. You see the sign out there because that's the first step, having the courage to decide to get out there, that I need to share my expertise, my message, right? You can't just stay behind the scenes. So PYOT, it's all in the mindset stuff, which I know you and I really chat about. Then it's finding that purpose, to get on that lane. Here's the purpose. Let me get it like I directed you. And then you build the presence. And then the platform. Now that's a very short 4 steps. There's a lot more in it, but that's essentially the 4 pillars of owning your lane. And the platform is really propelling you to do every day to do bigger and better things. It's a journey, not a destination. And you just never stop, right? Until you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Either you pivot and it's something else, or you keep going.
And you get clarity along the way. You get clarity and sometimes even a tighter, more narrow lane, or you can switch to different lanes, but it's yours. It feels aligned to you, because I know one thing, Heidi, has this ever happened to you? You're doing work, but you don't feel lit up inside. It's more of a friction versus a flow. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah. And then it just feels like you're just trying to rip it out of inside, and you're just frustrated because you don't know why it's not coming out. And I mean, I think we've all been there. If you have been there, drop it in the comments. I mean, have you struggled because you weren't feeling aligned, in sync with what your magic is, that kind of stuff? I've definitely been there. And that's probably been for me the last couple of years, was feeling out of alignment. And then now that I'm going back into it, I mean, I feel so different. I mean, I still have days I'm still like, what the fuck am I doing? But
we all do. Yeah.
And I still have my days that where I have doubts. It's like, did I choose the right direction? But inside, I know I did. And what I'm doing now just feels, it's so incredible when you're actually truly owning it, and you realize that you actually will stand out because of that.
Yeah. And you don't look so much as, and if you do look to the side or to others, then you go, oh, that's them. And you're happy for them. You don't feel any jealousy or comparison-itis,
Yeah.
which keeps you stuck and stagnant. And I am a perfectionist by nature, which leads me, ironically, to be a procrastinator, because I'm such a perfectionist. I'll go and research the heck out of something and can't make a decision and then procrastinate. So I'm learning my ways, but I know now, like, hey, that's them. This is me. This is, and it helps you go forward, and it really doesn't waste as much time as, comparing yourself or going to look at their website copy and put it on yours because that looks so good, but that's not that's them, not you,
It's not
so
you. Yeah. I mean, and it's so much easier, like you said, when we're doing it for other people, because here it is, when I'm helping other people stand out and get visible online with their marketing strategy and in a way that works for them, I find it so easy. And then I go work on my own stuff. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like,
oh yeah,
oh my God.
That's why I do what I do with my Visible Brand Authority Accelerator Roadmap. I help these women. This is everything you need to get out there, your roadmap out there. And you don't have to be distracted by shiny objects, by other people's. This is exactly the lane you need to go on. You're going to get more clarity and refinement, of course, as you go. And it's just a beautiful process. You're not going to waste that time, that overthinking, that feeling stuck and stagnant, and you have all the tools. It's personal branding, it's the LinkedIn visibility, which I know you know well, and PR. I bring the PR part of it in there to amplify your personal brand. I think personal branding, PR are the beautiful marriage for women experts to get out there in a bigger way, and they really go hand in hand.
They do. They really do. And I was going to wait and tell you after the show, but I'll tell you on the show. I truly fully finished realizing my magic yesterday, and where I'm going with things is even now is we already know I'm huge on the conversation and getting people talking to people, but I didn't realize until yesterday, all my programs are set up about getting people live online.
Ooh, what made you realize that? How did that click?
Been laying out my signature program. I've been taking it down. I told you I was going to take it down from 6 months to 3. So we've been laying it out and getting it figured out exactly what was going to be in it. What we were cutting out was in the original 6, and got done and realized it's a whole program, because the whole thing is about connecting, of course, being visible. And I already told you a couple of weeks ago, a human connection. So talking to people through life stream is going to be, it is my thing. It has been the whole time. It's been sitting there in front of my face.
That's the most beautiful moment when something clicks. That was like me 2 weeks ago on my own on a Saturday morning. I was doing something, and then because I've always struggled, how do I bring in my LinkedIn stuff? I wrote the LinkedIn branding book with Michelle. We have the podcast, but I'm not a LinkedIn trainer. Okay. But I use LinkedIn as the visibility tool. So it just dawned on me, that's how I can marry the 3 things I do: personal branding, PR, and LinkedIn visibility. So it's like personal branding, the LinkedIn visibility. It's like your authority profile. It's your website. Yeah. And that's where all the opportunities, of course, other PR, but a lot of the PR and the visibility opportunities have come from LinkedIn, because from collaborations, partnerships, media opportunities, speaking, podcast, you name it. It's a vital tool. So that's how I now position that leg of what I do, so that people know I do, because I am hired by organizations to train, people on LinkedIn, but I'm not a LinkedIn trainer. Does that make sense?
No, we've both been fighting that label, I think, for years, since we, both have been on it. And because that's for me, I was like, I never wanted to be a LinkedIn coach. I never wanted to be in that. But LinkedIn is my main social, with Facebook for me being my second. But it's never felt like, okay, this is it. But the opportunities I've gotten from the platform are freaking incredible. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten corporate work back when I was doing content writing for them and social media management. And then now, I mean, the collaborations, the speaking gigs, the friends, Beth Ann here, we're friends because of meeting on LinkedIn. And she's one of my best friends now. And so there's all of these opportunities that's happened that wouldn't have happened without LinkedIn. And Do I know a lot about LinkedIn? Absolutely. But there are days when I'm just like, I'm not like some of these gurus of that just know it ins and outs and everything else. I just know how to use it well for how I use it and show people how to use it. And it's like, so is it part of what I help people do? Absolutely. But am I a LinkedIn trainer, LinkedIn coach? No.
Well, I realized right on back in 2021, people would come to me and I realized they didn't have the foundation and the positioning. So I'm like, I can't help you. I didn't say it like that, but we had to go back a step. I'm all about foundational branding and having all the things lined up. And so I developed a program, but it was all about some of the foundational stuff. So now it's in the process of what I do on that Own Your Lane roadmap, the Visible Brand Authority Accelerator. You get a full LinkedIn refresh with me and all that, which is an invaluable tool because, you've got the foundation. But I feel that's how I bring it in. And I love how you just had that aha moment. I had that aha moment, of course, when I rebranded my name to Standout Women, but also with how do I bring LinkedIn visibility? So it's a process. You're going to keep going down that road and getting these clear moments. That's just going to make it even better. So you can go faster, farther, So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and I think that's what's important for people to realize too, is realize, guys, this stuff, it continues to evolve as we're growing, changing, learning yourself, that kind of stuff. You continue to grow into it. And I think, Beth Ann is mentioned here. She's like, I know she struggled to find her lane. David, the same thing. And I know a little bit what's going on with Beth too. And I think we all want it yesterday. And I'm impatient too. I'm like everybody else, but I'm really starting to step back and enjoy the journey to getting there too. I mean, of course, success, I would have loved it a year ago, whatever, or, 2 years ago. But what I feel in my head is success. I've been successful, but I've still got these levels that I haven't hit yet. So I'm still like, oh, we're not there yet. We're bad about that. But I just think the journey is part of what makes it and turns it into what it is. And we can't be who we are if we don't do that journey.
You got to do the work. You'll go faster. It sounds, and it's not even like a long thing. You will actually feel better about yourself, doing the work. When you, number one on Own Your Lane is PYOT, decide to do it. Mindset, put yourself out there. You're going to do it. But then let's get a little bit deeper and figure out which lane you're going to put yourself out there on. And that's the purpose. And so I do all this beautiful assessment work and then, working with my clients to really pull it out. And we have a really good working idea. And I cannot tell you the transformation just in that first part of that journey when they nail down their positioning and how their purpose, their positioning, and how they can take that message out there and just really build a presence and a platform. And it's almost like you're doing yourself a disservice not to do it because you're going to get stuck. You're going to go in the proverbial cul-de-sacs, fall off the side of the road, whatever. It's just going to take you longer. But when you have that traction, it's a beautiful process. And I think that's why I'm writing this book, How to Own Your Lane, because I really want to share my unique way of doing this so that people can take all these learnings and apply it and hopefully, get out there themselves and the lane they're meant to. And that's the number one thing. We're all uniquely designed for some purpose and to help others. And that's what I really want to share in this book.
Well, and I think you bring up a valid point there. As always with everyone, if we get help quicker, you get there faster.
Yeah.
Doing it yourself, you will get there. You get there sooner or later. But if you go ahead and get help, and I mean, that's a big thing. I'm coming from the marketing background. Of course, marketing is the last thing people think they need to invest in. They'll go build a website first, not realizing it's a marketing tool. So marketing first. They'll go build logos, again, marketing tool. They'll go do everything else first. And then finally they're like, why isn't my stuff selling? Well, you don't know how to market it. So it's the last thing, just like even with branding, they go work on website and logos and stuff first, but not the type of branding you do as much. And I see people wait again for that till the last of figuring out exactly who am I? What is it I'm doing? What is my lane? What is and all of this. And then you can get there so much quicker if you just go ahead and do that ahead. And I mean, I'm guilty. I don't always get help when I should. We know I haven't done Michelle yet. That's coming.
That other stuff's the fun stuff, but it is fun. I will promise you it is fun when you know who you are, how you're different, who you're here for, the problem you solve, what makes you different and why, and how you help others doing that to get their transformation. I have like 7 basic things. But when you nail those, oh my goodness, you can go out. You actually are lit up like you just said you are. And, because the travesty to me is people who just get out there, fall victim to shiny objects, comparison-itis, and they give up. Can you imagine that person with transformative work and ideas to help someone just gives up? Right? I mean, to me, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. So I'm really here to arm people not to have that happen, because we all need to be out there with the unique message, expertise, whatever that is, to help someone else. That's why I do personal branding. It's the connection that you have for that person you're here for. It's not about us, like I'm so great. It's not narcissistic, flashy, fluffy. It's all about transformation for others. But you got to be out there. You got to be visible. So
you do it. And you bring up a great point that, and I think especially women struggle with this, is the thought of talking about ourselves. A lot of us are raised that if you're talking about yourself, you're bragging, or, you're put instead. That's not the case at all. Talking about yourself does not mean you're bragging. And we have to put ourselves out there. We're business owners. Come on. We've got to be able to get ourselves out there. Otherwise, we're not going to make those sales. We're not going to make the money. We're not going to work with those amazing clients that we can help if we don't start talking about ourselves more. And part of that comes with the confidence of knowing who you are, which is
absolutely who you are and who you help and how you help them and how you're different. You got those 4, and then you forward face with a problem. You're out there talking about the problems your ideal client audience faces, and they will listen. We all see those Instagram accounts, whatever, that it's all about them. It's all about them. Every other picture is just this glam picture. I'm like, that has nothing for me. Like, great, you look good, but I can't stand seeing this 3 times a day, every day. I unfollow those. Like, I like the accounts, the personal brands, and I'm interested in the subject matter or the transformation they help me with. I want to see them. I'm eager all the time for them to tell me something to help me along my journey. And so that's why you need to be visible out there, well-defined, well-positioned for those people. And then they're not going to unfollow you. They're going to be so excited that you're here to help them. And it's just a beautiful process. You're going to want to be out there more, and they're going to want to, it's a beautiful thing. It's just ebb and flow. So that's how you position it.
It really is. And it makes such a difference in just how you want to show up. I was talking to somebody the other day, and what you're talking about now really brings that up. Is she was talking about, she's like, I get so tired of being on social media. She's like, it's not fun. I'm only there because I have to be for my business. And I was like, what if you reframed that and figured out what way would make it fun for you? Because she's like doing it for her business, but if it's horrible, and I mean, this is something, I help people with too, is to make it fun, make it enjoyable. But if you cannot find a way to reframe that into a way you're going to enjoy it, it's coming through your content, guys. It really is. And we can tell you don't want to be there. You don't want to be doing it. So you don't want to be hating your life. If you need somebody like Michelle, you need somebody to help you figure out, hey, what it is, who am I, how do I get it, what's my ideal client that's going to light me up inside that I'm going to help you with, then that's really important. Because if you are hating it, oh my God, we know, and we don't want you there like that.
Well, I'd have to diagnose that. Are they hating it, like you said, because, like you said, they're forced to do it, but they're not really clear on who they are and the help? Then it's like, then you reframe that with, I have an obligation. I'm here for that person. I can't let them down. I have help that they have, that they need. But it's also too, it breaks down into how you're showing up. Maybe you're a better writer than audio, or maybe or video. Or maybe sometimes social media, you could dial back less if you had more in-person networking or speaking opportunities to get in front of your audience, or PR, or a combination of both. So you're not like every single second on social media. Absolutely. So I would reframe that. And even sometimes your offers, I see that too with clients. Like, I really don't really like, but like, well, let's see how you're delivering that transformation. There's other ways to do it. So take a look at some of those things. And that's what I really work one-on-one with my clients to, higher level diagnose some of that, because that is a roadblock, right?
Exactly. It is, because if you aren't liking how you're doing it, and that's what I keep reminding people, I was like, there's 1,000,001 ways to market yourself and put yourself out there. If you don't like the way that you're doing it, find another way, because at the end of the day, you can have the freedom to build the thing the way you want it. You just got to open your mind up and look for the ways that's going to work for you. And I mean, this is something I'm so passionate about, releasing people from marketing and branding in ways that they think they have to.
Yes.
And it's like, no, you don't. As somebody talked to me the other day, and she's like, I don't want to send cold pitches in DM, Heidi. And I'm like, so don't. I was like, I don't. It's at the top of my LinkedIn headline. That's what I'm helping people do. I don't do it because you don't have to. And there's so many other ways to do it. But everybody's bombarded with this stuff. So they think that those people are ahead of them because they're out there. They're putting themselves out. And I have to do it.
Well, let's change that from I have to do it to I get to do it. Just like I said earlier, I get to wake up early tomorrow. I'm excited because I get to do this. And I'll tell you, I know I sound like Pollyanna, but I didn't always feel this way. It wasn't until I really fell into my owning my lane that everything flipped for me. Yes, I don't have perfect days. Absolutely. I'm not saying everything's perfect, but I get to do it now. And yes, there are some bumps on the road, but yes, I'm getting there for that person I'm here for. And like I said, just find the way is best for you. And also, Michelle and I did a podcast episode recorded coming out soon. There's a lot of advice, especially LinkedIn, social media, LinkedIn, like you have to do this, you have to do this. No, find it works for you. It's not always in the same context. So put a detective lens, test it, but shiny object rather is a horrible thing. I fall into it too, right? So just see what works for you. It's all about owning your lane and the way it's meant for you. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm always reminding people on that too, is if you see somebody doing something that looks interesting, test it, try it. But keep coming back to what feels good to you. And that doesn't mean you can't add new things in, but you keep experimenting and figuring out what's going to work better for you and everything. But remember, the grass is not actually greener, guys. Just because you think it is not. Because that's working for them. Maybe it'll work for you, but maybe what you got's already what's working for you. And you just got to stay in it long enough too. Because I mean, we also want overnight, overnight success. And Michelle, I had a coach in the past. She used to say it took me 7 years to be an overnight success. How many years has it taken you to get to where you are on what looks like your overnight success?
That's a great analogy. Absolutely. I feel like I'm 4 years in business, but I really say because of the pandemic, I probably didn't even get started till later the first year. This is my third full year, fully filling in business. And I feel like the third year is just going to be my best year coming into it because of everything's fallen into place. So, but it's not to say I wasn't a success or didn't, hit milestones then. It's just, that's the beauty of it. You're just going to keep propelling, and that's why I just really want to have people just find what works for them, own the lane, and own what works for them. And it's always, if you listen internally, I always felt a friction versus a flow moment. And the flow is where I'm like, oh, I need to lean in more of that. So it's a lot of times we just have to get a little bit more silent. There's so much coming at us, and just start listening to those inner little, the good inner voices that are maybe directing us, because you'll feel it. You'll feel that internal nudge, yes or no. And I know I've started leaning into it, and it's really helped me make better decisions.
It really does. And it does me too. I can always tell when I'm ignoring them, because I'll get tired or something and I'm ignoring the signs, the nudges, the things, and everything gets hard. And when everything gets hard, I know it's time to stop, take a break, walk away, and come back whenever I'm feeling it. And then I can always tell, David, he's here. He knows when things are in the flow for me, it's just like magic.
Yes.
And it's like that for everyone, but the thing is trusting that inside and understanding and hearing it and going with it when you do, even if it doesn't feel like at the first it's the right direction, because you're like, well, I wasn't going that way. I wasn't doing that. It's okay. It's fine. It'll be okay. Because if you start trusting that and realizing that when you do, and you just let go and this is a big thing for me, is letting go. And that was my mantra last year, let it go for a lot of things. But just let go and let the universe guide you. Pay attention to your intuition. Those are the voices that actually are the right path, and quit fighting so much.
Oh, that was another aha moment for me when I had that brand retreat in New Orleans in February. And I realized part of me is I need to be in person, doing in-person events and VIP days and stuff, I have to, the connection I was missing also, of course, the pandemic, but I was behind a screen, although I love connecting with people all over the world like you. I have to get out and do more events, my own events, and that lit me up. I mean, I'm still on cloud nine from New Orleans 2 months ago.
I have to say, and for everybody that's watching, are you more of someone who prefers virtual events in person or mixed? Let us know. But
Yes.
I was on the live where you guys, all four of you, broadcast from New Orleans, and the joy and the happiness that came through that. I mean, you just wanted to be there to be part of the party. I mean, it really just came through from all four of you. So it was so incredible. I mean, just that difference of level, because here you guys have literally connected around the world online. You've written books with people, you've done all of this stuff, and then you finally meet in person. And it just was, it was
it was beautiful. I'll be having more. I'm writing my book now. So I had to, I thought I was going to be able to have one in the spring. I have great ideas, but then I realized, no, you can't write your book and do that. So I will be doing more of those. And, but no, I'm speechless still, because it truly changed me. And I realized that is me. I have to do this stuff. I remember setting up for our happy hour reception. I had to go to the local store in the quarter to get some more wine for our champagne toast for when Michelle walked in. And I'm like, I was just giddy like a little kid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is real. This is exciting. I'm doing what I love. And it's all part of my story too. My previous role, one of the things we did was a 2,000 person conference every year. So hosting events, having people, bringing transformation is part of who I am. So now I just get to do it for my own thing. And that's something I'm going to be having more, brand your way business retreats. And and you will be at one. I know you will.
I will. I will definitely be at one. At least one.
Yes. No, and it's perfect because we are all at the same stage of our business, minus a few years, and so we bounced and learned so much together, as well as, the stuff I helped them with. But anyway, so that was part of me owning my lane. I found that aha moment too. So every day I'm learning a little bit more about myself. You will learn about yourself. Those listening and watching will learn more about themselves. When they have that core of idea, here's who I am, you start seeing the signpost, if you will. So that's another way when you realize I'm here to be visible, put myself out there, know my purpose, build my presence, and get my platform out there. And wow, wouldn't the world be better for all with that intent to help so much more people?
Always. Well, and that's something that we all, because that's one of the things we all bonded over was collaboration and networking together, and believing how much further we can get with that rather than competition. And it's truly amazing, because that's always been my mantra since I can remember growing up as little. I've always realized you could get further with more people around you, but it's been harder to find those people for me up until the last year or so, since we've all started bonding and stuff. And it's just like, I feel like I'm finally in my people. And that is so empowering when you're in a group of people and the energy is to work together and empower each other and stuff. You walk away. I mean, like, you guys were a visual, when you met in New Orleans, you were a visual representation of how I feel after I've been in a group of incredible people who are striving to do something and just empower each other to whatever their dream, their goal is. And you just walk away with this. I mean, I was laughing at David. I told him, I said, I'm feeling buzzed off the energy.
I love that. Thank you. No, imagine what it's like in person too. So if you can bottle that up, put it in person. Yeah. So that's what we need to look at, how are we showing up? And if maybe in person is where you need, going back to that client who was like, I hate social media, maybe she needs to have in-person things. So we just find these clues along the way when we're doing what we're meant to do. So absolutely love that. And I just think, bonding with power partners, power teams is where it's at, especially if you're an online entrepreneur. It can get lonely, and we need that. And it's a wonderful way to snowball our effect and our impact as well.
Yeah. And Miss Beth Ann, she likes a mix for sure, and she needs to get out more. And Lena, she's like, I like online events because they're easy to tune into, but lately I've missed in-person
A
Yes,
balance.
and the same
Yeah.
way. I mean, because my angle that I come from, my lane is going to be help people pretty much stay virtual, but I also need a mix. And I know that as well. I mean, I love the human connection of in person too. But I'm also, because I can help people actually. A lot of people are like, well, you can't connect the same virtually as you do in person. Now, don't get me wrong, in person adds another level for sure. I mean, there is a difference being there. But I do believe you can get so much virtually as well that I feel like a lot of people are missing, so I'm helping them with that connection too, to really improve those online virtual connections because I mean, look at all of us. None of us would have met without the online too. So we just need our balance.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, doing events like this and including your audience and listeners, asking questions, there is certainly a way to do that. And what works for you. So everyone's gonna be a little bit different. So, at the end of the day, it's just owning, what works for you and getting rid of what doesn't, so you'll go faster.
That's the big thing. If it's not working, find something that does. Yeah.
Mhm.
So does anyone, because we always have a little lag on Restream, if you've got questions for Michelle or whatever you want to bring up, go ahead and start dropping those in the comments. And Michelle brought a nice little gift for you guys today, a free audio masterclass on how to stand out and finally get what you deserve. Michelle, you want to tell them a little more about that while we're seeing if there's any questions?
Yes, this masterclass is about how to put yourself out there. I said own your lane. The first step is putting yourself out there. There's a lot of us that are hidden, held back, hopeless on the sidelines. We're not clear. We're unsure, unknown, overthinking, all the things which I, by the way, have felt myself. I did this class and it was so well received. It's my PYOT pyramid in here. The 3 ways that you are going to tackle what's holding you back from getting out there. So it's 30 minutes. It's audio. Pop it in your headphones and walk around with it. Let me know how you feel. But for those who have listened to it, I've gotten DMs. It was originally a video presentation, but I got people just immediately send it to me and go, Michelle, that changed everything for me. Thank you. I can start, you reframed it for me. So I hope that impacts you as it did those. And so you can start on your lane by what's the first step? PYOT and mindset. So
gotta put yourself out there, guys. If you want to make a difference, putting yourself out there is the only way it's going to happen. Get started for sure.
Yeah. This is your permission slip too. If you're waiting for permission, which I did too, my backstory, I don't know if I shared, I was in my job for 5 years. Well, originally back in my 20s, was getting my master's PR. I wanted to have my own PR agency. That life got in the way. Years later, bubbled up. I was 2015, started looking into the online entrepreneurship world. That just lit my fire. Wanted to do that in a different way, but then was stuck 5 years. You know what happened? I thought content, courses, credentials, certifications were the ticket. And those just got me more and more confused. I had no professional clarity. And so it wasn't until by chance I created my own roadmap, this process I'm teaching now, that helped me get that aha moment and get out there. With six weeks later, I sent my resignation in, and 6 months later I was out there and started building my brand and everything with fast results. But I absolutely know what it's like to be on the sideline, and all the things like I just mentioned stifle you. So I have been there and I know. So this is hopefully a jump start to get out there and avoid the time, the money, and the hopeless feeling that I felt back in the day, which, nothing's perfect, but we have a smooth path ahead now, right? So that's what it's about.
I think there's always bumps in the roads no matter what. But at the end of the day, if we're not at least trying and getting on that path, then you're not going to stand out and be visible and show up. I mean, you really do have to get started, and you can either do it on your own or get somebody like Michelle or myself or anybody else to help you that you resonate with, and just get yourself out there. I mean, start doing it. I was talking to somebody the other day. She was getting ready to do her first live and was really freaking out. And I was just like, you know what? And this may be bad, but honestly, the first one it's never great. It's rare you're ever going to be happy with it. And I'm just always like, just get it over with. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off.
Yep.
Just get it done, get it out there. And then the next one gets easier, and it just keeps getting easier. But if you never do that first one, nothing's ever going to change.
We all had our first time hiccups. You know, Michelle and I both had this happen. 3.5 years ago, I did my first one, and I accidentally gave the guest link out there instead of a, and I'm like, why are these people in my back? That was embarrassing. But anyway, I got through it. I absolutely love live video more than recorded video because it's just in the moment. And I feel like I bring in energy. But, you know, for those that are on the sidelines, no matter if you want to do a live or just get visible in general, you know, I've said this a million times, visibility is not vanity. Visibility is being valuable.
Yes.
Visibility is being valuable because it's exactly what we've been talking about today. You are being valuable and transformative. You have to be visible and they won't know you unless you get out there. So don't worry, you're not being vain, you're being valuable.
Yes, major. And I love that quote. It's one of my favorites of yours. But it's because it is so true. I mean, you got to get out there, get seen, guys. Seriously, do it. Yeah, so we apparently have no questions. We must have answered some questions today. I am going to, real quick, next week, I'm going to be chatting with the lovely Yuval Ackerman about ethical marketing strategies. That's coming up for a lot of fun. And of course, if anybody knows about Yuval at all, then we're going to be talking some pasta. That's part of her branding, her everything about her and stuff. So make sure you join us for that. We're going to be dropping the link for Michelle's gift for you guys. Make sure you download that. It's going to be in the comments. So download that and then reach out. If you've got questions, you're catching this after with the replay, #replay, drop your questions, thoughts in the comments. We will come by and get them answered for you. And Michelle, what's one thing you'd like to leave us with today?
I guess I would just have to go back to my 2 favorite quotes, you know, put yourself out there, right? Visibility is not vanity. Visibility is being valuable. You have an expertise, a message, and a mission, and something that can help others. So don't hold back and find that lane that is yours and just rock it and just go with it. And I promise you, life will transform, not just for your clients, but for you too. It's the best feeling in the world when you find your purpose that way. So it's short and sweet. And again, if anyone has any questions, tag us because LinkedIn's been a little wonky. So tag us both. Happy to answer any questions for the replay. And I just want to thank you for having me here to chat with you and hopefully inspire someone to, you know, stop feeling hidden, held back, and hopeless. And get
looks
out.
Like you already have, because Miss Lena says, thanks so much. I've definitely been stuck and this has been great. So we've already got Lena. Make sure you download this amazing gift from Michelle too, because it's going to help with that feeling of being stuck.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Michelle, for joining me. You know I love you on this and everything. And everyone else, we're so grateful for you joining us, bringing your energy, your questions, your thoughts. And just a quick reminder, if you've got more, drop them. As Michelle said, make sure you tag us. LinkedIn's always a little wonky, but that's just normal. It's become part of life, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. And thank you so much.